Yeah, we are back. We are back. We are back here on the Breakin Show. I am GunzPicks, and you are live and direct here on a beautiful Wednesday night. Sorry for the lateness. Big rainstorms here. Lost power. Couldn't load up the computer, but now I'm back. I'm ready to go, ready to roll, and I got the plays that pay the bills. Let's get it going with the horn as we get into some of the first plays, because I want to make sure that I get to them. Got a lot of plays in the 7 o'clock slate, and I'm just going to drop this one a cappella style because I looked at the board right before the game, and I went, oh, no. Guess what? Loyola, Maryland is playing at home, and I don't care who they're playing. They're 0-11 against the spread. They've only beaten one team, and I think it was a Division II team at home this season, and they're playing Bucknell. Bucknell 6-2 ATS on the road this season. They're sitting here at -3.5, -4. You can find the -3.5s now. And I will always fade Loyola, Maryland at home, no matter what. They're, like I said, 0-11 against the spread this season. So we're going to make this an additional play as a late, actually just throw it on the card here. We're going to take Bucknell -3.5, 1.5 unit banger, baby, to start the show. That's how quick the plays go today, folks. Now we got to dissect some of these other games. So bear with me here. Now we're going to go to the next game on the board. And we're going to James Madison versus Georgia State. We're going to Atlanta, Georgia, JSU Convocation Center there in Atlanta, Georgia. And by God, we're going to be taking the dog here as the dog of the day. Georgia State +8.5, dog of the day. That's right. Let me tell you why. You got JMU 78th in offensive efficiency going against a Georgia State defense that is 218th in defensive efficiency, but they defend the three very well, 9th in the country in defending the three. Now you're going to look at the offense here for Georgia State, 204th in offensive efficiency, but they don't turn over the ball a lot. They're 11th in the country as far as turnover percentage, and they're pretty decent on the free throw line for 41st in free throw percentage. On the other side, look at the free throw percentage on the JMU side. They're 243rd in the country in free throw percentage. So you know me, if you've been following GunzPicks, you know what I love. I love taking good free throw teams over bad free throw teams, and we have one of those situations here. Then you got to look at the production from JMU on the road versus home. They give up 64.7 points per game at home, but on the road, different story. They give up 73.6 points per game on the road. That is a significant line swing from the splits. Offensively, though, relatively the same as far as their production goes. On the offensive side here for Georgia State, they improve 3 points more points per game at home. On the road, they give up 6 points less per game to their opponent. So there's an improvement here from Georgia State when they play their home games. These teams did meet on the 15th of February. JMU won that game, demolished them by 20, 83-53 as 14.5-point home favorites. Now the line is shifted here to 8.5, 8's out on the board. And then you got to look at the situation here for JMU. JMU is on the third leg of a 4-game away trip. And then you got Georgia State on the opposite side of the spectrum. They're on the third leg of a 4-game home stretch. So you have JMU just riding on the road, getting tired, getting worn, getting flat. They got to go against a team with revenge here, a Georgia State team that is in the third leg of their home stretch. They're going to finish the season off that way. I think it's a good opportunity to go take the dog here over a really good JMU team. I'll give them all the credit in the world, but I think this is a spot that they may falter, and Georgia State will stay in this game and get us a cover here. So I'm going to take Georgia State here, plus 8.5 as a 1.5 unit banger, baby. As we get into the chat, of course, my guy Peter always joining us here. Glad Guns is safe from the storm. Give him the horn. A little bit dicey there, a little dark. The visibility was bad, but we made it here. And let's go into the next play here for the people, as we just gave 2 plays. If you just missed those plays, I just did the analysis. I'm doing Bucknell -3.5 and Georgia State +8.5 for my first 2 plays. Let's go into the next one, and we're going to play a little going Nolans. Louisiana on this one. I'm wearing the hat for a reason, not just for my health. It is North Texas going on the road versus Tulane. Devlin Fieldhouse is the spot. And we're going with North Texas on this one. Money line, minus 130. Let me tell you why on this game. You got to look at the offense here for North Texas. 148th in offensive efficiency, 201st in field goal percentage. They are sloppy with the basketball, 289th in turnover percentage, 27th in offensive rebounding, 129th in free throw percentage. But they're going against a Tulane defense that does give up the points, and I'll get to that in a second. But 219th in defensive efficiency, 205th in the country in defending shots, and the 339th in defensive rebounds. Bad defense, even though North Texas's offense isn't that great. The strength is their defense because North Texas defense is 35th in the country in defensive efficiency, 18th in defending shots, 37th in the country in creating turnovers, and 298th in allowing opponents to the free throw line. But it's just, when you're an aggressive team, that's going to happen a lot. You're going to get a lot into some foul trouble. On the offensive side for Tulane, 92nd in the country in offensive efficiency, 33rd in field goal percentage, 259th in offensive rebounding, 91st in field goal percentage. They can't rebound the ball, this Tulane team. That's going to be an advantage here for North Texas. Even though North Texas is not one of the greatest shooting teams, they're going against a bad defense. I think they're going to have their opportunities at second chance points, and they got a great defense to boot. And they got to look at North Texas. Where are they coming from? Tough loss. They lost to UTSA at home as 14-point favorites at home. They lost by 14 points at home, straight up. So there is a bounce back element there. On the defensive side for North Texas, they're just one of the best scoring defenses in the country. They're ranked 5th in the country as far as that category is concerned. They only give up 61.5 points per game. Tulane's defense is ranked 345th in the same category, allowing opponents to get 80.7 points per game. So there is a very big dynamic between these two programs. And then you got to look at the line correlation on this one, right? The line is virtually identical to the first meeting. North Texas did beat Tulane 70-56 as 2.5-point home favorites on January 6th. And now they're going on the road to go play Tulane. Same line applies. You should have a change in the line, at least 4 to 6 points, and you don't. Why? Because North Texas is the better team, and they're going to get it done here. Plus, you got to look at Tulane. 1-7 straight up, 2-6 ATS in the last 8 games, 3-7 ATS as a dog, 0-5 ATS as a dog of 3 points or less. Those are key stats. I can't take this Tulane team. I got to fade them once again, and I'm going to be rolling with North Texas here. Get it done. Money line, minus 130, 1.5 unit banger, baby. Hit the home. And while you guys are watching me live or watching me later or watching me whenever on any social media platform, please like and subscribe to the GunzPicks channel here on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the video, and we can keep it moving right along. Please support me. That's the way you support me, is support my channels. And you can follow me on Twitter at GunzPicks. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok under the same name. All right. We have another game here. Actually, we have one more game in the 7 o'clock hour that we're going to get to here. And I got to put the bye hat on. I got to take the North Texas hat on, and I got to wear the bye hat for the Maryland Terrapins. Yes, that's right. I'm taking the Maryland Terrapins minus 5.5, 1.5 unit play versus Northwestern today. 7 p.m. tip, Xfinity Center, College Park, Maryland, just up the road from GunzPicks Studios. And we're going to take him here. Listen, Northwestern's offense, pretty efficient. 29th in offensive efficiency, 64th in field goal percentage, 5th in turnovers, 263rd in offensive rebounds, 5th in three-point shooting, and 113th in free throw percentage. If there's a strength of this team, they can make their threes, and that's what's helping their offensive efficiency shoot through the rafters. On the other side for Maryland, Maryland has a great defense. That's their strength. 6th in defensive efficiency in the country, 10th in defending shots, 62nd in defending the three, and 177th in defensive rebounding. There is an advantage there. I think they can stay with this Northwestern team. Offensively for Maryland, 156th in offensive efficiency, 316th in field goal percentage, and 189th in the free throw line. They're not a great shooting team. However, this is a team that relies heavily on their defense to get stuff done. And if you looked at the last few games, they've been able to score points. And I'll tell you what this team does when they play at home. Offensive production just drops here for Northwestern once they go on the road. They put up 79.2 points per game at home. However, they drop significantly to 68.5 points per game once they get on the road. Maryland is ranked 13th in defensive scoring as well. They only allow 64 points per game to their opponents. And then the offense production shoots through the roof once they get into their home court in the Xfinity Center. They average 75 points per game at home while only averaging 63.4 points per game on the road. That's the difference with this Maryland team. Once they get home, they can actually score points. And with that defense that's ranked 6th in the country in defensive efficiency, that is key when going against this Northwestern team. Then you got to look at what Maryland has done lately. Maryland coming off a loss on the 14th on Valentine's Day to Ohio State. Then what happened? They go and they beat Iowa 78-76 at home. They lose a close one to Wisconsin by 4 on the road at 7.5-point dogs. Well, we know Wisconsin, when you play in Wisconsin where the Badgers roam, that is a very tough play for anybody in the Big Ten. And Maryland kept it close in that game. Then they beat Rutgers 63-46 on the road as 2-point dogs, and they were shooting exceptionally well in that game. They're 3-1 ATS in the last 4 games. Granted, they had a close loss versus Illinois on the road as well. So there is a 4-game sample size right there that you're seeing a Maryland team on the rise, where I think you're seeing Northwestern team that is probably regressing here. Northwestern has been solid 4 out of the last 5 games. I will say that 4-1 ATS in that span, but on the road, they're 1-5 straight up in their last 6 road games with their only single-digit dog covers were Rutgers and Indiana. If you know those teams are absolutely bad. So if you're a single-digit dog, that's when they're playing a team that's even mid or average. I think Maryland kind of fits that bill. I think they can cover in this one. And it's revenge for Maryland. Maryland lost the first matchup at Northwestern 72-69 as 4.5-point road dogs. Now you're seeing them here favored as 5.5, 6-point favorites on this one. And you got Maryland coming off a back-to-back road trip. They'll be fired up for this one, getting back home, getting back to the Xfinity Center where they play their best ball. That defense will be rocking. The whole entire student section will be rocking. I think it's going to be a great game here, and Maryland's going to get it done significantly by double digits. Give me Maryland here, -5.5, 1.5 unit banger, baby. And you know what? That one's going to be my best bet of the day. Boom! That's right. Best bet of the day. Maryland Terrapins -5.5, 1.5 unit play. Listen, I'm weighting these all the same, granted, but if you had to pick one bet, that's the bet I would take on this one on this card. All right. We're going to have 2 more plays for you right now. Let's go to the next play that's on the board here. Short talk on this one. I kind of pontificated there on the Maryland play because I loved it so much. But we're going to go Missouri State versus Illinois State. 8 p.m. tip. CEFCU Arena in Normal. I don't know how normal it is, but it is Normal, Illinois. And we're going to go Illinois State here as a favorite here, -4.5, 1.5 unit play. Listen, Illinois State 5-0 ATS in the last 5 games. Illinois State coming into their final home game of the season, so it's senior day there. They're going to be very fired up for that one to get a big home win versus this Missouri State team. These 2 teams did meet on the 20th of January. Missouri State getting beat 69-60 to Illinois State. They were 6.5-point favorites in that game. Now the line is flipped to the other side of the spectrum. Illinois State being the favorite here at 4.5. Also, you got to look at Missouri State 1-5 straight up in ATS in the last 6 games. 1-7 ATS is a single-digit road dog, and that's a spot that you got them in today. And Illinois State has won and covered 3 out of the last 4 matchups versus Missouri State. So a quick hitter there. I like Illinois State to get it done on senior night. Give me Illinois State -4.5, 1.5 unit banger, baby. Across the board, EQ in the building. What's up, my man? Bang, bang. Hit him, give him a couple guns. Bang. Oh. I think we just hit our bookie on that one. All right, let's go to the next play here. This is the latest one and the last play on the board. And before I do that, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit the notification button. All that stuff that you're supposed to do every time you go to a YouTube channel. Most of you guys just look and gawk You don't even subscribe to my channel. How dare you? How dare you? At least you could do is hit the like button. I mean, that's all I ask you to do. That's how I get in the algorithm of all algorithms. That is what YouTube sets. Is this what you're supposed to say when you're on these things? I don't know. I just want to give out plays so you guys get winners. That's all I want to do. But I'm giving this information for free, so I want to grow this channel to the rafters. Speaking of rafters, let's talk about the next game on the board here. St. John's versus Butler. We're going to Hinkle Fieldhouse here in Indianapolis, Indiana. 8:30 tip, and it's Big East action at its finest, and we're going with Butler on this one. Butler, money line, minus 110, 1.5 unit play. Let me tell you why. St. John's offense, right? Decent. 35th in offensive efficiency. They're going against a Butler defense that is 93rd in defensive efficiency. But they are very disciplined. They're fifth in the country in allowing opponents to get to the free throw line. Well, that doesn't matter with St. John's because they can't make free throws. They're 216th in the country in free throw percentage, all right? Then you got Butler's offense, pretty decent themselves, 43rd in the country in offensive efficiency, 123rd in field goal percentage, and they're 12th in free throw percentage. This team makes free throws against the St. John's team that doesn't, all right? And then you got St. John's coming off the highest of highest wins, right? They beat Creighton outright as a short dog at home, right? And Creighton, of course, coming off the highs of highs, dominating UConn in a shooting spree that was unprecedented for Creighton, but they lost 80-66 to St. John's in the next game. Now that you got this St. John's team that's fat and happy and probably already sitting on a at-large bid anyway, so what do they got to play for in this game, right? These teams did meet on January 2nd. St. John's winning the game 86-70 as 6-point favorites. Now the line is flipped as a pick 'em. I'm seeing +1s here for Butler. So we're getting a good line correlation, not the greatest line correlation, but I like the situation here coming off a big win there for St. John's, coming out flat. Now you got St. John's 0-5 ATS in the last 5 road games, 1-4 straight up, only winning against Georgetown, who's a bad team themselves, as 10-point favorites. They didn't even cover that game. They only won by 5 against St. John's in their last road game. Also, St. John's 3-8 ATS in their last 11 games overall. Butler has done well as a favorite, too. Granted, it's a pick 'em, and I'm treating it as a 0. And I'm looking at these situations, especially when they sit here kind of teetering right on that favorite line, which I believe they should be in this game. They're 11-1 straight up in that role. So I think this is an appropriate time to take Butler. You have the St. John's team coming off the highs of victories, right? High fives, everybody. You guys did a great job against Creighton. Now you got to go against this Butler team that's probably the flattest of all flat spots. We tried to take them on Saturday. It didn't work out for us. It was our only loss on the late night bangers because they were +6.5. But now you got this little short line. It means this Butler team is probably due for a win. And we're just taking them to win the game. So give me a Butler here. Money line, -110 as my last play of the night. 1.5 unit banger, baby. Hit the double guns. And then Peter, always a supporter, always a true gun disciple. Give guns credit, boys. I'm trying out there. Listen, we're up 6 units since the inception 2 weeks ago of the GunzPicks channel. I'm continuing making profit brick by damn brick. You guys have been playing all my plays, like I play all my plays. You should have been doing all right. You're up money, all right? And then you got Michael, of course, always joining us. What's up, my guy? Hit the home. All right, but that's going to do it here. We got tip-off on a lot of these games, so I want to make sure I recap for all you guys. We're going with Bucknell fading the 0-11 straight up in ATS Loyola Maryland team, -3.5 for Bucknell. We're going to do the dog of the day for Georgia State +8.5. We're going to do North Texas money line -130 versus Tulane. We're going to go Maryland as the best bet of the night, -5.5 at home versus Northwestern. We're going to go Illinois State -4.5, 1.5 unit banger versus Missouri State on senior night. And then we're going to end it up here with a little cream rise to the top. Butler Bulldogs against St. John's. Money line -110. 1.5 unit banger as well. Those are the plays that paid the bills. Gave you 6. Let's cash them all. Let's dominate the board. And as always, hang on. I got to talk to the chat before I cut out. Michael says, lost 3 bets on game shot winners yesterday, including 2 half-court shots. Feeling a little dejected today. Love Butler today. That's right. Get on Butler with me. Let's ride. Let's ride with guns today, baby. And of course, gotta say, Peter, the best I've ever seen to trust me. This guy has been with me forever. And of course, Jay Lottie in the chat says all over Georgia State. Let's go. All right, that's it, boys. Let's cash some tickets. Let's dominate the board. And as always, let's keep dancing. A bang.